Taranaki Foodies on Most FM.
We talk about people involved in food and hospitality, and of course, music.
The tastiest show on 100.4 FM.
Proudly brought to you by Salt on the Waterfront.
Hello, hello, hello. It's 4:02 on Mad Media clock, and we are starting Taranaki Foodies, the tastiest food show on the Most FM. Proudly sponsored by Salt Restaurant of Millennium Hotels. It's us, Alina Williams and Warwick Foy, in the studio with the red walls. And we have an amazing tech team today. It's Foodies, Dad and Son, Gianluca and Rob Wheatley. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
You brought an amazing playlist, and the playlist is devoted to everyone who are dear to you. Well, not everyone, probably the most important people. We're going to discuss it later. Let's listen together the first song, which is You'll Never Walk Alone.
We have to ask which football team he supports first.
Yeah, no, I
one?
think it's fairly obvious at that point that I was brought up as a Red, as a Liverpool fan, and my dad actually worked for Liverpool for 10 years,
Wow,
so this
cool.
was an anthem for me growing up.
Well, this could be interesting because I'm an Everton supporter.
That's okay, we can still be
Don't
friends.
fight, boys.
Did you grow up in Liverpool?
Yeah, not far from. We were on the Wirral, which is
Oh.
just across the way.
I know it
you
well,
know? Yeah.
I lived there for a year in Birkenhead
Oh, did you?
when I was 11.
Yeah, so my dad was born in Birkenhead.
Ah.
So he was born and brought up on an estate in Birkenhead, and his dad was a milkman, and then he went off and became an accountant and was the finance director at Liverpool for
Wow.
nearly 10 years. So yeah.
Which school did you go to?
I went to Colby Grange Grammar
Oh,
School
yeah.
for a while,
Oh, yeah.
and then we moved up north, and I went to Newcastle Royal Grammar School,
I went to Rock Ferry High School.
Rock Ferry.
Which
You went
is-
to a proper high school.
Yeah. Which is now closed.
Yeah.
By proper, you mean what? Humans?
Oh no, it was
No,
an
versus
ex-grammar
aliens?
school. I think it was ex-grammar.
Oh yeah. My dad's
Comprehensive.
best friend he still lives in Rock Ferry, or Rocheferret, as he
Oh.
likes to call it. So
Rocheferret. This
Rocheferret.
is really interesting. For me.
Yeah. So he's a proper scout. He's got a proper deep voice. Whenever I try and pretend to be a scout, I end up
Yeah.
being him.
So my football team used to practice on the Tranmere Rovers ground.
Oh,
Or
really?
B
Prenton
ground.
Park?
Yeah.
So that was my first game, was Prenton Park. My friend John Aldridge was playing there and stuff like that. So.
Oh wow. And when I say I'm an Everton fan, I couldn't name a single player now. I'd sort of just keep an eye on the results. But
I've never been one of those that's bought into the fierce rival. On the day, in the stadium, absolutely. But otherwise, I don't. I think those years where Everton were really struggling and in and around the relegation, I didn't want it. I don't want Everton to go down. You know, it's too.
So they were quite strong when I was there at that time.
Yeah.
And then when I lived in London in 94, 95, they won the FA
The
Cup.
FA Cup, yeah.
95.
Paul Rideout with his header in '95. Yeah.
And I wasn't at Wembley, but I was close by in a pub watching it. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah. I can imagine how good that would have been as an Everton fan.
They beat. Who did they beat? I should know that.
In the cup final.
Yeah.
It was Man United.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Is it extra time? Maybe?
No, it was in normal time. I remember it really, really well because I my best friend at the time was an Everton fan, and so I was, as a Liverpool fan, I didn't want to support either side really, but Everton seemed like the worst of the two evils.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies, proudly brought to you by Salt Restaurant of Millennium Hotels. It's us, Alina Williams and Warwick Foy, in the studio of Red Walls. We have an amazing team here in the studio, Gianluca and Rob Wheatley, and their Foodies, Dad and Son. And the conversations we had with Rob and Gianluca are so amazing, and I can't really wait to share it with you guys. Well, first of all, Gianluca is a well-read guy, and he's a foodie, and when his dad asked him, what food would you like for dinner? He said Thai. Isn't it
He's
amazing?
also a mini-me, just saying.
Yeah, they look so similar.
I think it's funny. I think he looks just like somewhere in between my dad and his uncle Cameron. So
You obviously have really good genetics because you're two very, very handsome.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, Gianluca, would you like to tell us a few words about your favorite food? What do you have in your school lunchbox every day, and you eat it first?
And where is your school?
So my school is in is Leperton School in Taranaki, and at morning tea we eat our food. So we have a little snack, then we go out to play, and I always eat my sweet thing at morning tea because I'm not going to eat my sandwich at morning tea.
Now,
I'll save that for when I'm really hungry.
You sound a little bit pommy. Where were you born?
I was born in Taupo at
Tauranga.
Tauranga, by the mount, and then we moved down into Lipton.
Wow, such an
Nice.
eloquent young man. And I met Rob at my cooking class, so we were doing dumplings, and he just came in, and I asked him to cut onion, and oh my gosh, the knife skills were there. Oh my gosh. And I was like, oh, there is a group of 2 boys, would you like to help him? And he just didn't even fret, he just took off and went there, and this was a very, very super successful group there. So
Cool.
thank you very much for joining in.
No, thank you so much. My Gianluca and Emiliana, who is his little sister, love dumplings. It's their favourite food in the whole wide world. So every Tuesday after swimming, we have dumplings. And so I was like, do you know what? I need to learn how to make them. So it was wonderful. Thank you so much for putting on these classes for people, because as we were talking off air, I was saying how important I think that they are for people to just upskill themselves in the basics of cooking, which I think you do a wonderful job of. So thank you for it.
Interestingly, people don't realize how budget-friendly those classes are, because it looks fancy, it tastes fancy, it's quite a lot of it. But for 10 people, dumplings, and there were lots of leftovers. My budget was $160.
Yeah, I mean, we came away with so much food left over. I think we were eating dumplings for like weeks afterwards, weren't we? So it was amazing.
When you were buying them after swimming, where were you getting them from?
I'm not proud to say I get them from the supermarket, but
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's an honest place. Whatever says on the radio stays on the radio.
yeah. When we get the opportunity, because we live out in Leperton and we live our life in that sort of like 3 kilometre block that goes between Waitara, Leperton, and Bell Block, realistically, and my wife's sister lives just across the road from us, and my mother-in-law lives down in Brixton, so we don't have a lot of reason to go outside of that really. But when we do get the chance, we go to the Korean shop that's just down the way here, and we'll try and get some fancier dumplings from there.
Warwick, question to you. Where are the best dumplings in Plymouth?
Well, there's the dumpling food truck, which is called, what is it called?
Hearty Ears dumpling.
Hearty Airs. It's good, yeah.
I can vouch for the Sushi Ninja food,
Yes.
because it's pretty amazing. But
Always
it's a
good.
restaurant set up. One of my favorites are actually Vietnamese dumplings at Vietnam Nom, which is on Learded Street.
Laughing Buddha,
Laughing Buddha.
very,
oh,
very
yes,
good
yes.
dumplings.
But I stopped eating dumplings made with the wheat, so Vietnamese made with the rice flour, and quite good for me.
Yeah, I think Gianluca, what's your favourite dumplings that you've had so far?
I really like the ones from what's it called?
Vietnam Nom?
Oh yeah, Vietnam Nam. I like the ones from
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
The pork and
Chai.
prawns.
Chuck
Yes,
prawns.
something like that.
We're trying to discuss where to go for dinner afterwards. I feel like we're leading towards dumplings at this rate, guys.
Dumplings
Come
are
on.
coming.
I went to Rice Baby for lunch.
Oh yeah, what did you have?
I had pho, I think you say.
Pho.
I always say it wrong, but it's
6
definitely not
tones.
pho.
Vietnamese language has 6 tones. How can you replicate it? You
Pho.
can't even remember.
And it was just excellent.
Yeah, I have a friend, her name's Alyssa, and we occasionally go to the movies, and the spring rolls there are out the gate.
Oh, movies. I was going to say that. Cinema Express. So they've got an excellent menu, and I have been there, and the food is lovely, but it's often not open. I never know when to go.
Yeah, are they the ones that were in Inglewood and then
I
moved
think
down?
so.
Because I taught at Inglewood Primary for a little while, and they had just opened, and I remember having those dumplings and just
that
wanting
was
them
the
every
best.
day. They were so good.
That was the best, that little spot.
Yeah.
Did you ever go there, Lena?
No, but I'm going to talk on behalf of Mikari because he wants to say something, and he is kind of rooting for Reef Sushi Coffee and Sushi Bar because he loves food there, I know, and there are dumplings there as well, and that's amazing coffee and also sushi.
We love the Reef.
Yes,
we know some of these people that others we don't know. But we're not favoritism. We'll support all of our really excellent Asian
we spend
supermarkets and shops and
a lot
cafes.
of money on food.
Do you know, I was
do.
having this conversation the other day, and for me, Taranaki punches well above its weight in terms of food opportunities and options that you have.
Agreed.
I mean, you can walk down the main 2 or 3 streets here and have any number of really, really great meals. And my mum comes over from the UK, and she's always blown away by the standard of meals that you can get here. And I don't personally think that they're particularly expensive for a meal out either. And certainly when you compare to the UK, where you would be spending the same but in pounds, which is then double the dollars.
Really, it would be.
Yeah,
these days,
at
yeah.
least. I think you can go out for a really reasonably priced meal as a family and still have amazing food.
And I think our Taranaki Hospo people are, we've met many of them over the years in the radio show, on the radio show, and they're just a great bunch, and they're quite collegial because they know there's only so much money that people have to spend, and so they work together to make sure the money's shared around, which is good. Sorry, I had 2 questions, actually a comment, observation, and a question. First of all, Gianluca, you're of English heritage, but you've got an Italian name, I think. I'd like to know why. Can you tell us?
So I think this is what happened. That my mum and dad were trying to find names for me, but they couldn't think of any names that felt right. And so then we looked to heritage, and my grandfather, called Pogo, is from Italy, and so
There we go.
the name Gianluca.
Is this on mum's side or dad's side?
Mum's side.
Okay.
So
This is a rich
I'm
history.
really proud of you for that, bud. That was almost exactly right. So my wife is a Marathi, one of the Inglewood Marathis.
Okay.
And so when we got married, and she ended up with the most Anglo-Saxon surname that you can possibly imagine in Wheatley, which literally means worked in the fields. When we had children, I wanted to try and honour her Italian heritage a little bit more. We did originally have a name picked out for Gianluca, and about 7 months in, I went, I hate it. We're not doing it. I want to honour you as my wife and your family because you've lost Marathi. So then I went. The funny story is I went through every Italian footballer that I could think of before I got to one that Casey liked. So
who was Gianluca, the football player?
Vialli, Gianluca Vialli,
Vialli.
which is a not so hidden secret from my wife. But yeah.
So back to football.
Sure.
Off air, we found what I think is quite a remarkable coincidence is that you played a song by Jerry and the Pacemakers, and their most famous song, If Not You'll Never Walk Alone, is Ferry Across the Mersey, because they're from Liverpool.
Yep.
And so I mentioned to you that I had spent a year of my life as an 11, 12-year-old on the Wirral, which is across the Mersey from Liverpool. And you said that you had also were you born there?
No, I wasn't born there, but we moved there when I was 2, and I was there between 2 and 14. And then we moved away for a couple of years for my dad's work, and then we moved back. And my mum is still in that same house
And
now.
where on the Wirral?
We live in a place called Heswell, which our house overlooks Heswell Golf Course, and then across from Heswell Golf Course we can see straight into Wales.
Yeah, I know.
So
that
it's
area.
pretty cool.
So you're the only person in my entire life who knows the high school that I went to there.
Because we thought that it was an imaginary school.
No, real place. It's really funny actually. My dad was probably brought up more or less exactly where you went to high school, so it's quite funny that way.
Yeah. So the most famous Rock Ferry High School's now closed down, but the most famous thing about that area is the Sunshine Soap Factory. Was somewhere along the road from. I remember that, seeing it on the bus as I went to school. Yeah. And I was made to play rugby because I was from New Zealand, even though I preferred football. And I had a Welsh teacher. I think he was a maths teacher. He was called Whopper Williams, of course.
I was thinking
something like that.
Of course he
Williams
was,
or
yeah.
something.
And he was funny and he liked me, I think, but he was brutal. And if I missed a tackle, and I was terrible at rugby, he would lift me up by my ankles and hang me upside down. I mean, we're both teachers.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if?
Yeah. Right. I mean,
if
he
we
sounds
did
like
that
the
today?
Trunchbull from Matilda
Yeah.
in that case, basically, right?
This was the early 80s. My physics teacher was called Jesus because he looked like Jesus. And he was a very nice man.
Were you in Catholic school?
No, it was a comprehensive.
Yeah,
former-
mate, it's
former
about
grammar.
as comprehensive as you can get
Otherwise,
down
your
in Liverpool.
work would be expelled or teaching, calling teacher Jesus. Let's return back to the to the playlist. I was so touched when you gave me the playlist and also the reasons why you choose those songs. So the first one was for the family back in England,
Yeah.
which we just listened, and the next one, I Will Wait, by Mumford and Sons, was for your wife.
Yeah, so this was the song that, not this version, we had a two cellos version of it, but this was the song that she walked down the aisle to.
Oh.
But my wife and I met relatively late on in life, and much later than I would have liked to, and so often I think that I did wait for her, and so yeah, this is my song for her.
So who's your wife?
Her name is Casey.
Casey Moretti.
Yeah.
So I taught half that family.
Oh, yeah.
When I was at Inglewood High School.
Yeah, right.
Stacey Hitchcock.
So they went to Waitara High, that whole crew.
that
So
group.
yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
Casey was the first, and then Bridget, Cameron, Anna. So they Lindy and Pogle own Rua Kiwi.
Which they just sold.
Which
That
they've
all
just
closed
sold.
down. Have they sold it?
It's a little column A, little column
Ah.
B. So it's in the process of going through the Māori land courts
Ah,
to
okay.
be sold. But yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Interestingly
We're
enough,
not on ever.
have you heard of Simon Galt?
yeah,
The
yeah,
chef?
yeah.
So he's distantly related to me by my wife.
Right.
She's a Galt. And it came up on Facebook, Simon Galt cooks on Maui.
Okay.
Have you seen this?
Um,
It's 2011.
Yes, I have. I have seen that.
And so he goes to the best butcher, which is Buzz the Butcher, now gone in West Town.
Right.
The best fish shop, which is the one down at the port, and then the best vegetable shop. And so
Yeah.
there's your father-in-law on TV.
They did an episode of Country Calendar.
Ah, okay.
Which in the aftermath of his tragic passing, I managed to source and have it on my laptop. But I mean, they've supported that community
yeah, absolutely.
forever and ever. It's nearly 40
Yeah.
years that they've
Wow.
been doing it.
What happened to him? I didn't know that.
He had a aneurysm and just was
bad.
alive one morning and was not the next morning. And I was coming back from the UK, and my wife was calling me I was on the plane, but because we had free Wi-Fi, she was calling me, and I was like, "Well, I'm on a plane. I can't talk to you."
Yeah.
And she goes, "That's died," and so that sort of rocked our world.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
how long is that now? 2 years?
Yeah, 2-ish.
Just over 2 years that happened.
What age?
He would have been 60.
Oh, that's not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's my age.
Yeah, and that's it. And
Nearly.
he was so healthy and fit,
Yeah,
and that's
wow.
just kind of the rock and roll of it.
Yeah.
So that is a
Ooh.
sugar-free banana choc chip muffin, and then that one, my wife loves vegetable.
That smells nice.
She likes savoury muffins, and so I'm a bit of a I don't like anything to go to waste, so I'll whop it all into a muffin or something along those lines at the end.
So are you the cook in the family?
Yes, very much. I don't think my wife's been in the kitchen for
Oh.
3
Oh,
years.
so-
So,
what do you teach at Waitara?
so I'm one of the foundations teachers, which means that I only teach the year 9s. They keep
yeah.
them together effectively as a primary school
Primary.
cohort. So I'm a primary school teacher by trade anyway. So they keep them together as a primary school cohort, and then I'm the year 10 dean, pastoral leader it's called these days.
Oh, we still have deans.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you teach?
Sacred Heart.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
I know someone who goes to Sacred Heart.
Who goes to Sacred Heart?
So a teacher, one of my first teachers, her name's Fire Izzy.
Oh yeah.
She goes to Sacred Heart now.
Fire who? Fire who?
Fire Izzy,
Easy.
Teacher or student?
teacher.
Oh,
Is she not at
I
Manukori?
don't know her.
I thought
I'm pretty sure she's at Manu Kotihi.
Oh, she thought she was going to Park.
When you left?
Yeah.
When she left? No, she went to Manu.
Oh.
Yeah, and she's been there since. And she's pregnant, actually. She's about to have a baby.
Nice, interesting. So after the break, we're going to review your food, and then we'll talk about your gastric bypass journey.
Fine.
If you're happy.
Yeah, more than. Thank you.
So we'll ask you for a recipe, well, ingredients for this.
Oh gosh. Make it up and see what happens.
What's your weight now?
At the moment, I'm 80 kilos. I got down to 70, but I was quite gaunt at that point. So I've actually spent sort of the last year and a half eating more food than I've ever eaten, but it's just straight protein. So to try and get some weight on.
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies, the tastiest food show on 100.4 FM. It's us, Alina Williams and Warwick Foy, in the Most FM. And it's proudly sponsored by Salt Restaurant of Millennium Hotels. We have an amazing tag team of Foodies Dad and Son, Gianluca and Rob Wheatley. And it's so interesting because there are so many aspects of the food that we discussed. We just tried some of the food that Rob made for us. And while we are ready to review the food, we will ask Rob to tell what did he bring to the studio and what are the ingredients in those products.
Yeah, so I brought two things which I grabbed from the freezer, and I specifically grabbed them from the freezer because these are the things that I make to grab from the freezer. So one of them is a sugar-free banana chocolate chip muffin, and the other one is a ham and vegetable frittata type muffin that I make because my wife Casey loves savoury muffins more than anything else in the world.
So egg things keep well in the freezer?
I think so. I quite often will. I hate food going to waste, and so often at the end of when I'm thinking, oh, this is going to go to waste. Otherwise, it's either in a stew, isn't it? It's either a stew or a curry or something like that, or a dumpling, or it goes into something like a frittata, and that's just easier to grab. And then for those, because they're muffin size, they're just really easy to chuck in a lunchbox, which is always half in my brain for my children.
Okay. So I think that Warwick is ready to do the review, and Mikara is still doing his job.
Well, when you took the lid off, my heart sank because I thought, oh no, it's flippin' sweet vanilla muffin or something like that. But it wasn't. It was vegetable, egg, cheese
and ham
savoury. Muffin, moist, lovely flavours, really delicious. I enjoyed that.
Yes, you seem scoffing it pretty fast.
Help yourself.
So must be a good thing. Gianluca, sorry. Do you really like those things? Do you eat them?
Well, I had one of the banana chocolate muffins in my lunch, and I really liked it, but I found it like greasy on the outside for some reason.
I think we need things like fat for our brains, because if you have healthy fats, it helps your brains to make connections, and you become kind of smarter, which is good for school, I suppose.
No, I have to own that one. Those ones I think I used a little bit too much oil in them, so they are just a little bit greasy, but also because it's just banana and egg and sugar-free chocolate chips and some oil to bind it together. There's not a lot other than that. So I'll own that one, buddy. You are right. Fair.
So you've got a fascinating backstory that you've given us permission to raise.
Sure.
Which is, can I ask your approximate age?
I'm 42.
42, and you're, as Alina said, a handsome and fit 42-year-old man.
Thank you.
But you have had times in your life when you have not looked like that. Tell us about that.
I would always argue I've been handsome, but no. I've just celebrated my 3rd anniversary after a gastric bypass. So I got up to about 145 kgs, and I'm down at about 80 now, and I just have always struggled with my weight. It's always been an issue for me, even from when I was a young boy, and it was effectively the drug of my choice. Food was the drug of my choice. It was how I celebrated. It was how I commiserated. It was, whenever I wanted to do something, I reached for food as the way forward for that. And so I effectively reached a point where Gianluca was 5, and my daughter Emiliana was 2.5, and I just wasn't the best version of myself. I wasn't the husband that I told my wife that I would be when we met and we married. and I'd been at one of my fittest times, and I owed it to her and to them and to myself to do better.
And do you think your weight is a eating disorder rather than genetic disposition to put on weight easily, or both?
A little column A, a little column B. Certainly, my dad was a bigger guy as well, but I also think that his was an element of an eating disorder on that. But yeah, definitely mine was. My wife always used to say to me, "It's portion size. You eat well, you eat healthily, but you eat too much,"
Right.
which was a fair criticism.
And it's easy to slip into a habit of doing that. I had the opposite happen when I had COVID. I just had no appetite for weeks and weeks after that. So I lost a bit of weight and I didn't feel like eating. And ever since, that was 5 years ago, I eat half what I used to eat.
Yeah, and I'm totally with you on that one. I mean, the fascinating thing with having a gastric bypass is you are limited in the amount that you can eat regardless of whatever else happens, right?
You feel full?
Really quickly, and it will depend what I eat as to what fills me or not. So every calorie that goes in from there on out, because I want to be a fit and active person, is important. So I will often choose the proteins and small amounts of fats and small amounts of carbohydrates. We were just laughing on air before I got off air before I got down to about 70 kgs at one point, and I was very corned. So I spent about 1.5 years just solely eating protein. And I think for a lot of people who have gastric bypasses, that can be the difficult part, is then changing your brain space around what the healthy choice is thereafter.
We'll come back to you because I want to talk more about that, but we'll just hear from Makari, who sampled. Which one did you have, Makari?
Both of them.
Oh, both of them. Okay, tell us about them.
This is Mikadi back on air. So today, I have tried the chocolate chip banana cake muffins, which have no sugar, which I'm actually really proud about, because I'm not really a sugary person anymore. But yeah.
Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, it had amazing flavor onto it, and a nice it had a really, really nice soft texture, which was really, really amazing.
Yeah.
Next up, I'll talk about the, I believe it was a savoury. It was pretty, I must say it was moist on like inside and outside, which was pretty interesting, but the flavour was like very, very, which was pretty umami if you ask me. It was really good. So,
Love
yeah,
an umami.
that's
Where's
one
that
of it.
umami coming from?
From the savoury.
Nice.
Umami is one of those things
Well
that you're
done.
aiming for as a chef, right? Like it's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So back to your gastric bypass. So school teacher. So this was all done in public, I would imagine.
No, I paid for it myself.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean the process. Did you say right, class? Say goodbye to me, because
No, it's a really interesting thing. So Daryl Warburton, who is the most amazing principal in the world,
great
and does amazing things out at Whitehead. He was actually on a sabbatical at the time, and so I didn't have an opportunity to tell him that I was having it done. But for me, it was a private thing. I was just going to do it by myself. The funny thing is, I decided to shave my head before I went in. I had quite long hair. I decided to shave my head because I wasn't sure what recovery was going to feel like and things like that. And so I came back after the school holidays. I had it done the first weekend of the school holidays.
oh, the long school.
No, just over 2
short one,
weeks.
right.
Yeah. But I came back 10 kgs lighter just in that 2
Wow.
weeks. And then as the term went on, I kept losing weight. And my colleague, who was working with me at the time, an amazing woman called Freedom, said, and I had told her, said, you're going to have to tell the staff because they're really
they're
worried
worried.
about you now. Your hair's gone and
You
you're
have got
losing
cancer.
weight very quickly. So then I had to publicly say it. And I don't hide it necessarily, but it's also not something I'm shouting from the rooftops.
No, fair enough. It's a really private thing. But you, did you not have any comments at all, apart from ones behind your back, worried about your health?
In terms of when I was heavy or when I was...
As the weight was coming off?
It's a really funny thing because I think there is that sort of really interesting playoff of, is he healthy? Is he not healthy? Like, what's going on here? What do we say? And then there's also that classic, oh, you look great. You're saying I didn't look great before. What's going on here? So, no, nobody else. There was, I had one woman come up to me and go, did you have surgery over the holidays? And I was like,
she knew.
Mind your own
so
business.
she knew. Again, I wasn't hiding it, but I also wasn't necessarily going to be very public about it.
Alina, we've had anorexic members of the wider family, and I've learned, and also through school, learned a lot about that eating disorders, disordered eating, and along with schizophrenia, it's the most dangerous form of mental illness.
Wow.
In terms of people either dying or taking their own lives, it's extremely serious mental illness. And one thing that I learned about it was that you can't say anything. You can't say, "Oh, you look great. You can stop dieting now," or "Oh, you've put on a bit of weight. That's good because you were so skinny when you were anorexic." You can't say anything because it's all triggering and it's all heard in the wrong way by a really unwell person.
Gosh. So hard.
It's very complex.
I have two very practical and very unpleasant questions for you, Rob.
Sure, of course. Anything.
Good at it.
Yeah.
So first, someone asked me to ask you, because there is lots of videos online that when people lose a lot of weight, they have an excess skin. I can see your hands that look very muscular. I don't see any excess skin. Did you have any problem in this area?
No, I've been really fortunate. I don't have any excess skin. What we did discover is that I have a divarication, but that was hidden by having a lot of body fat.
What is that?
So Gianluca just asked exactly the same question. So a divarication is effectively when your stomach is coming through your abdominal wall. So no matter.
Muscles.
So if I was to take my shirt off, I have. I'm quite toned, but I still have a pot belly, and that's actually just my stomach coming through the lining. Really common for women who through childbirth.
And
Like
is
really,
it
really
harmless?
Totally harmless.
Right.
It just means
Unpleasing.
aesthetically unpleasing. It also means my midline isn't very strong, so I'm never going to look like Ryan Gosling with my shirt off in any way, shape, or form. But that's okay.
Okay, come down, Foodies. No one is taking the shirts off in the studio.
So I think it's really brave of you to talk about this personal matter on air. When you had the surgery, and I think most people have to pay, don't they, unless it's life-threatening perhaps, I'm not sure, but you started to lose weight, that's obvious, but did your eating habits have to change, or you needed to change, or they did change?
So in the lead up to me having the surgery, I'd actually worked with a nutritional psychologist ahead of time anyway, because I wanted to get on top of what my triggers were and understanding the disordered eating element of who I was. In terms of my eating habits change, I think I alluded to previously, Casey would always say, you don't eat unhealthily, you just eat too much. So portion control is really the main thing that's come out of a gastric bypass and me having that.
Great.
So where previously it might have been, a 4-egg omelette, for example, now it's a 2-egg omelette, and that's enough for me.
You've just changed your eating habits.
100%, absolutely. And that's always going to be the best thing to have come out of it. I do order a lot of kids' meals while I'm out, though, because that's actually the right portion size for me.
Now,
Yes, it's amazing, Dad.
there's a skit, Ricky Gervais.
I love it.
Do you know
I
the
love
one
it
I mean?
with the sausage and beans. Yeah.
He orders the child's meal,
Yeah.
and because he's with a child, and he just wants to have the same thing, and the waitress says you can't. It's only £3. You have to have an adult's meal, and he argues with her in a typical Ricky Gervais way, and then he decides to order 2 child meals for the child.
Yeah. Well, we have a tricky way around that, don't we, Gianluca?
So when we were at a restaurant, I think it's above the Good Home, called the Rooftop.
Rooftop.
Wow, fancy.
What was it? I wasn't allowed to have a grown-ups meal, or it was Dad wasn't allowed to have a kids meal, and so I ordered the kids meal for Dad, and Dad ordered the grown-ups meal for me.
Nice.
And we just did a little secret swapsy.
It's
Wow,
quite
that's
strange,
amazing.
isn't it? Like, it's quite strange. It's money. It's my money. I suppose it's their terms and their premises, but
I'm fascinated by it. Just again, now that my eyes are a bit more open to portion control and those conversations, I often see meals come out and go, that is 2 people's worth of food.
Yeah.
They're like, why can't we have smaller portions and pay slightly less? Actually, probably I'm more likely to come to your restaurant more often
exactly.
if I can have a controlled portion size.
for me, the Eggs Benedict test, if they don't do half Eggs Benedict, because 2 is too much for me, and if they don't do half, it's annoying. I'm like, I don't mind paying because it's like $3 less than double.
Yeah.
That's okay because I understand you're still
100%.
going to make it, but I don't want all that food.
No, I think Federal Store does a really good job of that as well. They quite often will go, we can just do a half. We can just do a half. Don't worry, we can just do a half. And that's often where we end up going.
It's such a fascinating journey of health, and because you do it your way. So another uncomfortable question that I was asked to ask you:
Sure.
how much did it cost? But not only the operation itself, but also the psychologist, upkeep, and all the follow-ups.
Yeah, so we went through, I don't even know what it's called anymore. It keeps changing its name. But the main one for us in the North Island is in Hamilton. And it costs about $27,000. And that includes all of that stuff. Okay. So it includes the nutritionist, the counsellor, all of your blood work, all of your follow-ups, all that kind of stuff, for 2 years afterwards as well. And actually what we did was we weighed it out, and we had a really, really open conversation, Case and I, around, look, there's 2 ways to do this. One is diet, nutrition, exercise. Realistically, that's me gone in the morning, gone in the evening. If I do this well and I do it healthily and I lose, let's say, 2 kilos a month, that's 2 years for me to get to 100 kilos, assuming I don't fall off the wagon.
And had you had a long history of failing?
Yeah. I mean,
so you knew
I was the classic yo-yoer. And
it wasn't going to work for you.
It wasn't going to work for me. And I didn't want to be away from the kids that much either. My children and my wife are the most important things in my life. And the time that would have taken away from them just wasn't worth it to me. But actually when you weigh up the costs as well, although the surgery is an upfront cost, they were comparable costs. A nutritionist, a personal trainer, a gym membership, all of that time out, they are comparable costs over the same time period.
Are you going to live 25 years longer?
I think so.
You'll easily earn back that money.
Well, I mean, that was it. Ultimately, I was at a crossroads of, I'm losing time on my life now, and I'm not willing to do that. And money is money. So.
Oh, you're so fascinating. But I have to ask this question as well. As a devoted father and a person with such an interesting destiny, how are you going to ensure that your kids wouldn't be on the same pathway health-wise?
Yeah, I wanted to ask the same thing because I want to know if Gianluca's allowed to eat junk food.
Gianluca, what did you have at the movies? We've just been to see Project Hail Mary. What was in your lunchbox for the movies?
Egg and mayonnaise sandwich,
Yum.
2 chocolate bars,
Oh.
like a pack of gummies,
Nice.
some popcorn, Doritos, and two ginger nuts, and 2 chocolate pancakes.
So
Wow.
junk within reason.
It's not
Yeah.
really
Moderation.
junk. I mean,
No, it's not terrible. junk.
I mean, the wonderful nutritional psychologist that I worked with, a woman called Michelle at Sage Wellness, her tagline was always, the dose is the poison. So
That's a good one.
an amount of something is never an issue. We talk a lot in our household about healthy food choices. We talk about macros. The kids understand that we've got protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and they're going to make up the majority of our meals. And I think if I turned the microphone to Gianluca, he would be able to say to me, protein is the thing which helps your body and your brain development, and fat is about long-term energy, and carbohydrates are about those short-term energies. Would you?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. And that's how I'm trying to coach them. But ultimately, they're their own people.
That's right.
And all I can do is support them on their journeys, just as my mum did. When I said to her, hey, I think I want to have this surgery, all that she can do in that situation is go, I love you, I support you, what do you need from me? And that will be the same conversation that I have with them. All we can do, and I think the fascinating thing for me is, growing up, we didn't talk about these things. The knowledge wasn't out there as much. Whereas now we know more about how nutrition should look. And so the more that we can be open about these conversations, and that's why I have no problems talking about having a gastric bypass. The more we can be open and honest about the challenges that we have and how to overcome them, the better it can be.
That's
in
a
the
great
long run.
attitude. I can't help thinking whenever I've lost a bit of weight, I always feel really good. But you lost 65 kilos. So did it make you feel? Did it change your personality and make you feel confident and full of life and ready to go?
Do you know what? I suspect that's a question for my son rather than for me. Did you notice any changes in me from being overweight dad to now?
Well, when you were an overweight dad, I think you were not spending a lot of time with Emiliana and me, and you didn't really do as much.
What would he do, Gianluca?
He would sit in his room and he would occasionally read a book, but apart from that, I can't remember what else he really did, because he wasn't spending as much time with us.
Yeah, I mean, Gianluca was a lot older, but he's not far off the mark there, to be perfectly honest with you. This morning we got up, we went and did park run together. You know, these are the things which I wasn't able to do previously. I also have a history of depression and anxiety, which I take medication for, and again, I'm really open about as I go along. But one thing I have noticed is that is more easily managed now that I can go for runs and be out in the sunshine, and I have the motivation to do it. Yeah,
I've learned a lot by teaching that really overweight people, yeah, they may have made some bad choices, but it's a lot more complex than that. It's their genetics and it's their mental health, and it's really, really hard to lose weight, for some people harder than others. And so always have compassion for them. Sometimes I see a really large person arriving at the gym, and I'm just always so impressed that they've got there, because in front of all these lycra-clad people, not that I would lycra, but to actually step through that door and say, right, it's time to do something about this.
I think there's very few things as brave as being overweight, stepping through the doors of a gym and owning it. And I think it's one of my great frustrations is when you see those videos of people laughing at overweight people. I'm like, actually, he's braver than you are, man. Like, that's an incredible thing to do.
And just like any other addiction or affliction, they don't have full control over it. It's like with you, it was associated with your mental health, and for other people, it's poverty, or it's a complex issue. Otherwise, if it wasn't a complex issue, there wouldn't be any overweight people.
Absolutely,
right?
100%.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for such an amazing, meaningful conversation.
Thank you.
For your openness, for bringing your very interesting and well-versed son, so enriching our conversation. So we are going to listen to the third song, and we would like anyone who need a question, who wants to ask a question, can write to us, and we will pass it to Rob so he can answer it about his journey. So Opus by Eric Prydz. This is devoted to Rob's kids, Gianluca and Miliana, right?
Yeah.
Great to talk to you today.
Thank you
both
so
of
much
you.
for your
Thank
time.
you.
It's been a
really
privilege.
interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. So see you next weekend.